Hey, do you want to invest in real estate with no money out of your own pocket? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you the 6 steps to wholesaling real estate, and we're going to do this in 2 different parts. Part 1, I'm going to cover what is wholesaling in the first 2 steps, and in tomorrow's video, I'm going to show you steps 3 through 6. Pay attention because this video could change your life. So what are the 6 steps to wholesaling real estate? We're going to go over each one in pretty good detail, but I just want to cover a quick overview, and then what I'll do is I'll kind of take a step back and explain what wholesaling is for those of you that are brand new to my channel or you've never heard of this creative real estate investing strategy before. And then we'll go into each one in detail, and I'll explain to you how you can go out and do all 6 of these steps. I've done this over 1,000 times. My average wholesale fee is about $12,500 on average. Sometimes I get $4,000 or $5,000, sometimes I get $18,000, but on average, I make about $12,000 per wholesale transaction at the moment. So if you do one of those per month and you make an extra 12 grand a month, that is a massive amount of money for most people. Well, I'm doing it multiple times a month, and I'm also rehabbing, and I'm also building a rental portfolio. So when you add it all together, that's how you build wealth as a real estate investor. But in this video, I just want to stay really specific to the wholesale strategy. There are 6 steps that I've been rinsing and repeating over and over again for the last 14 years. These are the same 6 steps in every single wholesale transaction, and once you understand these and the mechanics and the art form and the technical side of doing these over and over, you can get out there and wholesale some real estate. All right, so from a high-level overview, the 6 steps are sourcing opportunities, talking with sellers. There's a stage called due diligence and circumstance analysis stage. That's pretty much researching the property and trying to understand what you're dealing with. Making and negotiating offers. Okay, and then eventually getting an offer accepted. Then once you have the offer accepted, now you have the legal rights to shop that deal around to find a cash buyer, which are typically landlords and rehabbers. And then the final step is to close and get paid. So what I want to do is I want to quickly cover what is wholesaling so everybody can get on the same page, and then we'll go through each one of these in a little bit more detail. So to start off, wholesaling, and for those of you that have been following me for a while now, you probably are going to recognize what I'm about to do, so I'll go through it fairly quickly. But essentially, wholesaling is like real estate matchmaking, right? When somebody thinks of real estate, or when I used to think of real estate, I used to think of it the traditional way, right? There was a real estate agent, you had to have a license. If you ever wanted to find a deal or buy a piece of real estate, you would go to a real estate agent. They would go and find the deals for you. Then when you found one that you liked, you would go look at it, and then you would say, sure, I want it. Then the agent would handle everything. They would write the offers, they would negotiate the deal, and then once they said you got it and you signed that contract, you would have to go to a bank, get a loan, get approved for a loan, which means you got to have job history and good credit, and be able to put down a significant down payment at times. And then the bank would lend you some money, and then you would then now close on the house, own the house, either rehab it or put it in your rental portfolio, right? That's the very old school traditional way of real estate. But there's also this whole world of creative real estate out there, and wholesaling is one of the most, in my opinion, fun and profitable creative real estate investing strategies that anybody could get into that doesn't require money, doesn't require credit, doesn't require a real estate license. And here's how it works. So essentially, here's you, and you're a wholesaler, right? You want to wholesale some real estate. Let's say you want to make an extra 5 grand next month, or 10 grand next month, or 15 grand next month. You market using very specific marketing techniques, right? Lead generation techniques, which we'll talk about here in a minute, to find what we call motivated sellers. These motivated sellers aren't the normal seller, right? This is somebody who owns a house that has extreme motivation to sell. And they're motivated for many different reasons. 95% of the population, they're never going to sell at a discount. They don't have any financial pain. They don't have any housing pain. They'll go and list their house with a real estate agent. But there's this 5% that something has happened. They lost their job. They went through a divorce. They have medical issues. They have legal issues. The house is old and ugly and outdated, and it won't even qualify for a normal loan. It's that beat up. It has mold or fire damage or water damage, foundational issues. Maybe they just don't like real estate agents. I don't want to pay a commission, and I want to get my cash as fast as possible. I don't want to list the house. I don't want to do open houses. And when that 5% of the population that finds themselves in a situation where they need cash quickly, and all of the cash that they have access to is locked in the house, meaning the equity of the house, then what happens is they become motivated to sell. You market through certain marketing techniques that I can teach you at some point, and you're looking for these motivated sellers. And when one raises their hand, you negotiate with them to put their house under contract to buy it. Right? So if you know how to fill out the paperwork and negotiate with the person that owns the house, and you can get the house under contract at a significant discount from retail, right? You can get it under a contract for a significant discount. So let's say in this scenario, the house is worth $150K, but it needs a lot of work. So you negotiate with them and you get it under contract for $90K, right? So they say, hey, listen, I know it needs like $30,000, $40,000 worth of work. I'll tell you what, you give me $90,000 cash, you close quickly so I can get my money and go solve whatever financial challenge I have in my life or personal challenge I have in my life. I'll do the deal with you. You say, great. So you fill out some paperwork. Up to this point, you haven't bought the house. All you've done is fill out some paperwork. Then what you do is you turn back on your marketing, right? And you're marketing for cash buyers. These are the people that have money but not a lot of time. These are landlords and rehabbers. All right? Rehabbers are like what you see on TV, on HGTV. Those are the people that go in and buy a house, fix it up, and sell it for a profit. Landlords, they're looking for rentals for their rental portfolio. But they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time to go and source deals. That's what your specialty is. You're sourcing deals that are at a significant discount from retail. So what happens over here is when you shop the deal to find these landlords or rehabbers, you're marketing this contract for, say, $100K. And one of them says, sure, I'll take it. So you say, great. You fill out another one-page agreement called an assignment. Takes a few minutes to fill this paperwork out. And essentially, when this person closes on the deal, $90,000 comes over to the seller, and they get paid off. $10K, which is the difference between the $100K and the $90K, that comes over to you, right? And everybody gets what they want. This person gets an awesome property for their rental portfolio or to rehab. This person sells a house that they really want to get out of, and they get the cash quickly, and you get paid $10,000 as a matchmaker fee for putting the deal together. The only reason this works is because of the way our U.S. contract law works. When you put a house under contract, even though you haven't bought it yet, you gain what's called equitable interest in the property, which is awesome because you might have put $100 down or $500 down as what's called an earnest deposit in order to make this contract valid, but you haven't actually paid for the house. and you've gained control of the house, which gives you the ability to market it without having a real estate license, put the whole deal together so when this thing closes, if you put up $500 as an earnest deposit, you're actually going to get a check back for $10,500. Now, I know I went kind of fast, and you might not know what equity is, and you might not know what an earnest deposit is, and you might be like, well, what paperwork do I fill out, and how do I market and generate leads and all that stuff? And here at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a free resource that's going to help pull this all together for you. All right, but that's wholesaling in a nutshell, your real estate matchmaking. So let's go back over here. Step one, source opportunities. Source opportunities. All right, I've developed over the last 14 years a dozen plus magnetic lead generation techniques. Some of them are free and some of them are paid. But essentially, if you want to get into wholesaling, what you're really saying to yourself is you want to become a badass professional marketer that knows how to generate leads for their business, and you just happen to pick the real estate niche because you know that people that buy and sell houses, houses are normally expensive, and therefore we can create spreads, right? We call this arbitraging. We can arbitrage the real estate transaction, pretty much wedge ourselves into a real estate deal by being creative. But in order to make this work, you have to have a lot of leads coming into your business, right? And so you want to understand lead generation. And in order to do lead generation, you have to understand what kind of leads you're looking for. So first off, if you want to do a wholesale deal, you have to find deals with motivation, equity, what else? Where you can potentially add value to the property. Let's call it possible cash flow. Did I miss any? Yeah, I missed one. Repairs. All right. So the types of deals we're looking for are ones where the homeowner has motivation. If they don't have motivation, they're probably not going to sell at a discount. We need it to where the home has equity in it, right? And equity is essentially the difference between what the home is worth and what the homeowner owes. So let's just say the homeowner owes $50K to the bank, but the house is worth $100K. How much equity do they have? If it's worth $100 but they owe $50, how much equity do they have? Well, they have $50K in equity, right? So essentially, nope, you can't sell at a discount if you owe the bank $100 and the house is only worth $100 because you can't accept less than $100. But if they own it free and clear, or if they have a bunch of equity, then they can negotiate any price that they want. So they need motivation, they need equity. We're also looking for deals that needs repairs. If we want to sell the house to a rehabber, the house probably needs repairs. This gives the person more motivation, the more repairs it needs. Also, sometimes we look for houses where we can add value. A lot of times I'll market to areas of town that have an intermixed type of house. A bunch of 2-bedroom, 1-baths mixed in a neighborhood that also has 3-bedroom, 2-baths. Well, if I can take a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, add an extra bedroom and a bathroom to it and turn it into a 3-2, by adding the square foot and turning it into a better type of property, I then can add value and increase the sales price of the house. So sometimes we're looking for value adds, and sometimes we're looking for possible cash flow. Landlords want cash flow. So if I'm talking to somebody or I'm thinking about lead generating, and I'm going to farm an area using one of my 12 extremely plus powerful lead gen techniques, these are the types of conversations I want to uncover, right? And so I farm areas specific, knowing that this is what I'm going after, all right? So the first and foremost, you have to become an awesome marketer, understand how to generate leads off of. So what am I talking about when I say lead gen? We're talking about generating leads off of Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. We're talking about understanding how to pull deals out of agents before they hit the market. So these are pre-listings, pocket listings. We're talking about networking. We're talking about doing direct mail, bandit signs, driving for dollars, dialing for dollars. I mean, there's so many powerful lead gen strategies, search engine optimization. And once you dominate them, and I really crush online, I get all these leads pouring into my business every single day. I'm literally swinging. Every time there's a new lead that comes in, I'm just hitting it. Well, after a while, when you're generating so many leads, you get pretty dang good at hitting the ball, right? So the more leads you have, the more opportunities you have to wholesale. So that was number one. Number two is you got to talk with sellers. Well, what does that mean? That means that you need to know what to say to them. And the truth of the matter is, professionals use scripts, right? And I'm at the point now where I have my script memorized, so I don't have to read from a physical piece of paper. But when I first started, I read from a script, right? So use script. And the reason we want to read from a script is we want to get good at what I call motivational interviewing. These are how and what questions. This is the art of building rapport over the phone. This is the ability to pull out of a seller who might be skeptical, who might be hesitant, who doesn't want to disclose certain information. Most sellers are pretty savvy. They don't want to volunteer what, they think the house is worth or how much that they owe in the property. They don't want to volunteer certain personal or private information. Maybe they just, need time to warm up to you. Whatever the scenario is, if you don't know the 6 major things that you want to accomplish on the first phone call, if you don't understand how to ask the right questions to open up the conversation, to pull the right information out of the seller, to uncover the motivation and the equity and the value add and the potential cash flow and the necessary repairs. If you don't understand how to build that connection, one of your competitors is going to come in and they're going to dominate talking with sellers, and they're going to get the deal and they're going to steal it right out from underneath you. All right? So this is very, very important that you master this step. I've spent years understanding and practicing and testing and tweaking and trying all these different things to perfect my phone scripts. I know exactly how I want to open up the second phone call, the third phone call. I know how to position my higher authority. I understand how to position price. I understand how to pull information out of people, overcome objections and obstacles and challenges. I know what it means when somebody says, I want to talk to, my husband or my wife before I make a decision, or, whatever their scenario is. I can maneuver around any scenario and get to the yes. All right? And that's because I've mastered this step. Super vitally important. All right? And in the beginning, I was scared to death to talk to sellers. If I was to be honest with you, my mentor worked really hard with me, and that's why we use a script, because it helped me stay on track. It helped me anticipate where to take the conversations, anticipate what to say next, anticipate how to overcome the objections. And anticipation is power when it comes to real estate investing. So, talk with sellers is step number 2. Hey, listen, while you're here, right after you subscribe to my channel, go ahead and grab my free book, How to Flip Houses with Little to No Money Down, by clicking the link down below in the description. It's my gift to you, and it's a step-by-step guide on how I got started in real estate and how you can too. Hope it helps.